So in the comics, Hank Pym is kind of like Tony Stark if he was played by Robin Williams. He's a genius, but he's nuts. The question is, why would Marvel skip over such an obviously interesting character to get to his much less well known replacement, Scott Lang? Apparently, the answer to that question is backstory. Ant-Man is the story of Scott Lang, the second person to become Ant-Man. It's the story of how he got to be that way and why he was chosen. Paul Rudd plays Scott Lang, also known as Ant-Man 2. He's a small-time crook with a heart of gold who is recruited by the original Ant-Man, Hank Pym, to take over the role. Rudd is fairly well cast in this movie, and the script honestly feels like it was written specifically to take advantage of his particular comic timing. The villain of the piece is Darren Cross, who's played by Corey Stoll. He's basically the douchebag that runs Pym Industries while Pym has been away. All this time, he's been working on recreating the Pym particles, which are what make the whole Ant-Man technology work. But it's technology that when Hank Pym left his company, he took it all with him for reasons which will be revealed in the film. And Darren Cross, in particular, wants to weaponize the Ant-Man technology, the Pym particles. Pretty much figure out why Hank Pym left at this point. The mentor in this film is, of course, Hank Pym himself, played by Michael Douglas. He's the original Ant-Man. As I mentioned, he's the inventor of the Pym particles, which made him super rich. This version of Hank Pym is nowhere near as loopy and weird as Hank Pym has been in the comic books, at least of late. He's batshit crazy in the comic books. Michael Douglas is good. He's really good, actually, going back and forth in banter with Paul Rudd, but he's also good dramatically. The film is a pretty good cast, and they all carry their weight pretty well. The primary allies in the film. Evangeline Lilly plays Hope Van Dyne, Hank Pym's daughter. She's good as well. As I said, everyone's good. Then there are a group of cons that help Ant-Man do his thing throughout the film, featuring Michael Pena, T.I., and an actor named David Dasmalchian or something. And you also have Scott Lang's ex-wife, played by Judy Greer, and her new husband, played by Bobby Cannavale. They're also pretty good. For enemies, most of the lesser enemies in this film are not memorable. They're basically just random guards and cops and so on who just get in the way just by doing their jobs. There are some standout other people in the film that I can't mention because big spoilers, so I'll leave that alone. The upside of this film, it's a fun movie. It's not quite as funny as Guardians of the Galaxy, not quite as spectacular as, say, the last Avengers movie, Age of Ultron, but it is funnier than most Marvel films. The action is much better than I thought it would be. In fact, it's better than I thought it could be. I mean, it's freaking Ant-Man. What do you expect from a guy who just shrinks, right? The acting is solid. The comic timing on all fronts is very good, and it's the special effects that make the action work. Um, the downside of this film is this is not a save the world story at all. I guess maybe in concept it sort of kind of is because of what you could use the Pym particle technology for, but it really is just a small movie about let's just get this little thing done and the big picture will take care of itself. And it's not as big a story as you're used to from a Marvel film. Although that is something that the film uses to make all of this more personal. It's more about the individuals in the story, which is pretty good. And finally, there's a tiny romantic moment in the film that I did not buy at all. It was well acted, but it was just so out of the blue that it was silly. Um, all in all, my final score for the film is this film is 4 stars. It has some minor wobbles in it, but it is a great time at the movies. So my question for the week is going to be then Ant-Man is a relatively minor player on the Marvel stage. Hank Pym is actually a major player, but his superhero persona, Ant-Man and also Giant Man, are very minor players. Are there any other minor players in the Marvel universe that you think should get a shot at maybe a feature film? My answer to that would probably be who do I like? Moon Knight. Moon Knight is essentially a supernatural Batman with multiple personality disorder. How can you go wrong with that? Anyway, thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye.